October 7th is the deadline for the SEC to appeal the ruling from Judge Torres in the Ripple XRP lawsuit. And is RLUSD, the Ripple stablecoin, bad for XRP? I'll share some details I learned today. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, today Bitcoin pulled back a bit, and this is what I've been telling you guys for weeks now. Yes, it's really nice to see Bitcoin breaking out and hitting 65, 66,000, but I've been saying ad nauseum, be cautiously optimistic because we don't know if the bottom is officially in yet. And Bitcoin has to prove itself. It has to show us the strength. The rally has to prove itself. And of course, we got a pullback. Now, this is on the micro. On the macro, you guys know I am super bullish. Q4, I believe Bitcoin will hit new all-time highs. It will break past $73,000. I could be wrong, but I believe there's a high probability of that happening. And as I've been also highlighting, the DXY could find some strength in the short term before ultimately breaking down below 100. I've been saying that for a long time, right? But as always, patience. This is why we have to exercise patience when it comes to investing. We have to form a thesis with the facts and what the data and the trends and the fundamentals are telling us, and be patient. Let these things play out, and your patience will be rewarded. And if the price volatility bothers you, just step away from it. Take a break. Don't stare at it. You know what I mean? I do that sometimes. I do a bit of a digital diet. I step away from the markets. I step away from looking at the price and turning off social media. So it's important to do that for your mental health and to keep a straight mind when it comes to investing, because markets can play with your emotions. And I've learned that over the years. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but it's like a muscle, right? You keep exercising that muscle and you get better. You become more experienced. You build thicker skin. So when you see the market pull back, you're like, whatever, wait till it comes back up and then we can start focusing on it again. So I hope you understand that. I hope this information is helpful. This is what I've learned over the years since I entered the crypto market in 2016. Now, guys, let's talk about some news around SEC versus Ripple. October 7th is the deadline for the SEC to challenge the July 2023 ruling by Judge Analisa Torres that deemed some of the Ripple sales of XRP violated securities laws. So remember, Judge Torres ruled that institutional sales fell into that securities category, while secondary market sales on exchanges are not securities, and that the token itself intrinsically is not a security. So the big question that everybody wants to know is, will the SEC appeal? And if they do appeal, will that impact the price? Because we see XRP starting to break out on the charts. Nothing to call home about, but it is breaking out, and the crypto market is starting to build momentum. And as Bitcoin heads to new all-time highs, the liquidity will then start to flow down to the altcoins. So we want to see XRP experience a true bull market since the last one of 2017 to 2018, where there was nothing hindering it and it did really well. Now, I'm diversified. I hold Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, XRP, and so forth. So this is not my only horse in the race. I've been telling people for years, diversify, 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 because if you put all your eggs in one basket, you never know what could happen, and then you miss out on gains. So Eleanor Terra Fox Business did a great write-up on this. Let me share some details and what I think the impact may be on the price if the SEC does appeal. So the Securities and Exchange Commission has until October 7th to decide if it will challenge the July 2023 ruling by U.S. District Judge Analisa Torres that deemed only some of the Ripple sales of XRP crypto token violated securities laws, a decision that has garnered criticism from securities lawyers and other federal judges. That said, the ruling is considered a major legal victory for the still nascent crypto industry, as it attempts to prove that the emerging asset class is not in violation of U.S. securities laws, as the SEC believes. It has also become a cornerstone in the legal strategies of other crypto entities like exchanges Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken, which are currently being sued by the Commission for allegedly selling unregistered securities. That's why former SEC lawyers who spoke with Fox Business say an appeal is likely, as the agency and its crypto skeptic chairman, Gary Gensler, are determined to assert jurisdiction over the $2 trillion industry and don't want to endorse a dual system that the Torres opinion could create in the securities market. Here's a quote. I believe the SEC will appeal. I would think it would not want to have the programmatic trading analysis stand, said Mark Powers, a blockchain professor at the Florida International University College of Law and former SEC enforcement attorney. It creates inconsistency in ruling by district court judges and in the second court. Now, it's important to highlight here, this is a former SEC official. So I've had like Mark Fagel, who's a former SEC regional director, and he also agrees with this. So I have to say there's some bias here because he's a former SEC guy, and I've noticed a lot of these guys, they stand with the SEC no matter what. If the SEC is doing the wrong thing, they will try to cover for the agency. And I get it. It's kind of like you work there, it's a bit of a club, and they want to paint the SEC in the best light as possible. Unfortunately, Gary Gensler is burning the house down with his political nonsense, lying, backstabbing, and much more. And here's the thing, guys. I think the SEC will appeal, and it's not because the SEC as an agency feels this way. It's scumbag regulator Gary Gensler that feels this way. I believe Gary's out to do whatever he wants. He's an agent of chaos. He's been weaponized by the TradFi incumbents to come in and kill these crypto startups, not kill crypto. So he's just going to do whatever he wants. And the reason why I feel that way is that look at all the political pressure that's been put on Gary, Donald Trump calling him out, the industry, Democrats and Republicans coming together to repeal SOB 121, to pass the FIT 21 bill out of the House, top Democrats like Chuck Schumer supporting crypto. Yet Gary, come at the beginning of September, issued a Wells notice to OpenSea. They went after eToro, and they're going after anything now. So he doesn't care. And that is why we need Congress to pass the legislation, because he doesn't care about the criticism. He doesn't care about being embarrassed and called out by the courts. So I feel he's going to appeal. The question is, if they do appeal, will it roadblock the XRP price from hitting its potential high in this bull market cycle? On one hand, I think there will be short-term volatility, but I think overall, I don't think it's going to affect XRP's price. Here's why. Even after the Ripple lawsuit in 2020, December 2020, XRP still ran up to near $2. But what happened? The exchanges started delisting it, and then the price started collapsing, right? Because no one can access the token, people started selling. But now that Ripple's kind of gone through the fire, no one's scared of the SEC anymore as far as getting a Wells notice or a lawsuit. In fact, the industry's countersuing and they're doing proactive lawsuits. So I think that aspect, the fear that was there, oh no, the SEC is coming after us, is gone. And many investors are seeing the chink in the armor of the SEC and Gary Gensler. So I don't think that fear is going to be there for the long term of the bull market. But short term, if the news breaks, oh, the SEC is going to appeal, XRP's price could see a lot of volatility. And remember, XRP is fully relisted on all exchanges in the United States and globally. And in fact, there's more exchanges that now list the token. And in fact, we saw Grayscale launch an institutional trust for XRP recently. So there's a lot of momentum. There's a different narrative. There's a different feeling versus what took place in 2020. So I still think XRP can run. Personally, if you look at the chart using a Fibonacci model, I could see XRP getting to just over $5, maybe at its highest about $6. But some analysts are calling for $8. So, one user tweeted out here a chart showing that his all-time high target for this cycle is $8. Now, we are not talking guarantees here. These are probabilities. And I will start to take profits on XRP as it crosses $4 and then to $5 and so forth, because I don't know how high this is going to go. I'm not saying I'm selling all my XRP at those prices, but I'm going to start to ladder out. And this is important because no one can call the top, folks. No one can call the top. If they know what the top's going to be, ask them for the winning lottery numbers next week so you can go play the lottery and make money that way. It'll be a hell of a lot easier, right? So just understand that you have to dollar cost average out as you dollar cost average in. So that's what I'm expecting for XRP. And like I said, short-term volatility if the SEC appeals and the news makes the rounds. But long-term, I don't think this affects the price unless there's another major issue, which I'm not anticipating, because Ripple continues to build. They're launching the RLUSD stablecoin, enabling smart contracts and so forth. And in fact, guys, today I was at Mainnet, and I'm going to be at Mainnet tomorrow as well. That's Messari's Mainnet conference happening in New York City. I met Paul Grewal, Chief Legal Officer at Coinbase, and a bunch of other people who I've interviewed and know in the industry. So I'll be there again tomorrow. But I spoke to a former Ripple employee, and I can't disclose that person's name. But let me share what I tweeted out today to everybody. I just spoke to a former Ripple employee at Mainnet. This person was part of the team that developed Ripple's ODL product. I asked them about the upcoming RLUSD stablecoin and whether they think it could negatively affect XRP. They mentioned that they had advocated for Ripple to launch a stablecoin years ago. Paraphrasing their response, they said the stablecoin will actually be beneficial for XRP as it will be paired with it. XRP will help provide the stablecoin with greater liquidity since it is available on all exchanges. Additionally, this pairing will help stabilize the stablecoin and prevent depegging. They also stated that the stablecoin will open up new use cases in Forex and much more. So I heard it directly from the horse's mouth, had a kind of off the record conversation, so to speak, not disclosing the person who it is. But I know the person very well. I know that they worked at Ripple. So just letting you guys know. And this is interesting. I know there's been a lot of talks about how this could be negative for Ripple, but I don't believe so because here's the thing. People get caught up too much in, is the token itself being used? That is important. Don't get me wrong. The token should be used in certain ways. But remember Metcalfe's law, and this applies to all blockchains out there, Ethereum and so forth. The more building that you have, the more activity, the more beneficial it is for the native token. Many folks don't understand that concept. I've often shared the example of Facebook. Facebook was worth millions of dollars before they even launched an ad or had a monetization strategy, right? Why? Because there was people on the network using it, and there was activity, there was adoption. And the more adoption, the more utility, the more building that a network gets, the stronger it becomes and the more valuable it becomes. What's different this time around versus Facebook is there's a native token, and that native token is used to grease the network to help pay for fees and transactions and so forth. That token is going to raise in value because I've often shared in my newsletters the developer activity on blockchains, and there's also daily active users, monthly active users. These are metrics that I know a lot of folks don't pay attention to, but I'm paying attention to it, and this is going to benefit Ripple. I don't think this is going to take away anything from XRP. I think it's a different product, and while it may be a bit of a departure from strategies they had in mind years ago, I still think it's beneficial, and that's just my take on it. I could be wrong, so I'm always open to hearing feedback, and I would love to hear what you guys think. If you can leave your thoughts in the comment section. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and here's something else I wanted to highlight from Jake Tversky. Apparently, crypto companies and founders are thinking about geofencing the United States as a compliance strategy. I don't know how many of you know about geofencing. This is something, if you're in the marketing field, digital marketing, you may know about it. It's where you put up blocks on IP addresses from people who are in a certain region. So maybe based on if you don't have a license to operate in there, you can block certain IP addresses. And, if the user is coming from the United States, in this case, they won't be able to use their respective platform, app, or whatever it may be. And it's sad that these businesses have to do this. This is why we need clear regulations, guys. And we have to keep calling up our representatives. You got to vote accordingly. Here, Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, tweeted out just today, elections getting close. Make sure you are registered to vote. And he highlighted Stand With Crypto, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uniting global crypto advocates. Go on there. You can see who's pro-crypto and who's not. Now, speaking of pro-crypto, John Deaton running against Elizabeth Warren. John is, of course, battling crypto's greatest enemy because she's the one that controlled Gary Gensler. Remember that? He tweeted out today, tonight is the deadline, friends. We need your support to finish the month strong. Chip in whatever you can today by going to johndeatonforsenate.com/donate. So, guys, if you haven't donated as yet, please go donate. And I've already donated. So go check it out, guys. Support John. He's obviously pro-crypto, and he's balanced. He's not like an extremist on either the left or the right. He's running as a Republican, but he's not any type of extremist. So check out John's policies and his things, of course. But He's trying to unseat Elizabeth Warren. So let's make it happen. Now, guys, quick word from our sponsor here, and that is Gemini, which is a great crypto exchange. You can buy, sell, trade crypto. They have a fully functional exchange. They have staking. They have a credit card. They have a stablecoin called Gemini Dollar. They also have a derivatives platform where you can trade Bitcoin and altcoins with perpetual contracts. And if you sign up using my link, guys, and you trade $100 in Bitcoin, you can get $15 in Bitcoin for free. So check out the link in the description. And don't forget to sign up for my free email newsletter on Substack, and also grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon. If you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help out my rankings. Thank you, guys, and I'll talk to you all later.